this video, I'm going to cover the differences between Docusign PowerForms and Docusign Webforms so that you know the one you should use. Let's get into it. So both Docusign PowerForms and Webforms create self-service signing experiences. This means that instead of you having to enter the name and email of the person that you want to collect signatures from, you can create a form that you're going to embed on a website or share the Docusign link via email to the person to whom you want to collect signatures from. And so the way that the standard Docusign workflow works is you create the envelope, you enter the recipient information, then those recipients will receive the envelope, they will sign, and then the envelope will be completed at some point. But with PowerForms and Webforms workflows, the recipients will access the link to that form. So if, for example, here I've got a Docusign web form that is embedded on our SoluSign website. And so I can just lead somehow loan seekers in this example to the application so that they can complete their loan application without me having to send them an envelope. And so they will click on apply for a loan and then fill out all of the information, and then they will have to sign at some point. That's the workflow with Docusign Webforms. Now with PowerForms, the main applicant will be able to provide their details as well as the details of the co-applicant. However, we can't force them to add a co-applicant's name. This means that they would be able to just skip that person and click on begin signing, and then it would be too late to add that other recipient in the workflow after they've already clicked on begin signing. This is the first difference really with Docusign Webforms, because here is the exact same document that sits underneath the Docusign Webform. It's the same loan application. If I enter my name and email, and then I enter all the other fields, at some point, I'm going to be asked that if there is a second applicant that I want to bring in the application. If I click on yes, then I am required to provide my spouse name and email, which is, in my opinion, better because the main applicant is not likely to forget to include the second applicant in the form, which is something that will happen very often with the Docusign PowerForms. The second difference is about the user experience, whether it's going to be mobile responsive or not. So if we have this very complex form, I don't know if you've ever tried to fill out a PDF on a mobile device, but you have to scroll through horizontally and vertically to see the actual form. But if we do the same thing with our web form instead of our power form, here I'm only seeing the fields that I need to complete, but I don't actually see the document. I will only see the document when I've submitted the web form. And the only thing that I will need to do at that point after the web form has been submitted is to sign the document, which is much easier to do because you've already filled out all of the information. The only thing you need to do is to click on sign and then next and finish signing. Now, I'm not saying that Docusign PowerForms cannot be mobile responsive. You can definitely format them in a mobile responsive way. For example, in this PowerForm here, for our loan application, we have formatted the document that sits in the PowerForm in a mobile responsive way. That means that if we do turn on mobile friendly in the PowerForm, then you can see that my fields are very nicely presented. The tables wrap around the borders of my screen, but that's only because this is not a third-party document that we cannot edit. So the document that's in this PowerForm has been edited in Word in a way that allows Docusign to render this typically non-responsive document into a responsive experience. But that's only because the structure of the document is modifiable. If you were doing it on a 9.9, you wouldn't be able to change the structure of the document for it to become mobile responsive. And that's when web forms are useful. They allow you to make any document non-mobile responsive. Now, before I get to the next difference between Docusign Webforms and PowerForms, if you haven't met me before, my name is Sofiane Saoudi. I've been in the Docusign space for quite a while now. I'm the founder of SoluSign Consulting. And in the past, I used to work at Docusign themselves as a software implementation consultant, helping companies implement Docusign. And since 2020, I've founded SoluSign Consulting, an agency dedicated to helping Docusign users save time, by leveraging Docusign capabilities. For example, you could automate the creation of documents at the click of a button in your CRM, track the signing status, and when your documents are signed, automatically store signed documents in SharePoint, Dropbox, with a naming convention of your choice. And if your signers have to enter information in form fields like in this I-9, you can also extract all the entries that your signers have provided in the forms back inside of your database so that, for example, we could, once the I-9 has been created, create the payroll profile of someone in QuickBooks or any other payroll software. And I'm just using this as an example, but it applies to any use case and any documents where you want to collect signatures and data. And you can absolutely do this by yourself by watching those tutorials. But if you don't have the time or the capacity or willingness to become Docusign experts like we have over the last 6 years, then you can book a strategy session using the link just down below. During the call, I or my team will map out your ideal workflow and propose you the best implementation roadmap for your company's unique needs. But if you are more of a DIY person, then you can just click on the other link down below to download our free Docusign Mastery Cheat Sheet. It will help you get started with Docusign on the right foot and automate your workflow. But for now, let's go back to the differences between Docusign Webforms and PowerForms. The next difference is when the envelopes are being generated. Since Docusign charges you per envelope, with PowerForms, as soon as somebody clicks on begin signing, that's when the envelope is created. So you've already paid and they haven't necessarily provided you with all of the information. With Docusign Webforms, you will only pay for the envelope as soon as they submit the web form. That's when the envelope gets generated. The next difference is about conditional logic. For example, here, let's say that we have a text box that we want to be filled out. If more than one of those options selected, that's not going to work, because if I go here and choose that I want to create my rule, and so if the person chooses the first option here, they're a citizen, and I want to make this text field required, then if I want to create another rule that says that I also want this text field to be required if the second option is chosen here, I cannot click on that same text field. So with Webforms, you can create multi-condition triggers to require the same field, which is not available in standard Docusign envelopes. What you would normally have to do with standard Docusign envelopes is to create a formula field and then assign a value to each of these options, calculate the total with this formula field, and then based on the answer of this formula field, require the text field. It's quite complex to do, and that actually brings me to the next difference between Docusign Webforms and PowerForms. It's about formulas. So the downside of using Docusign Webforms is that in your web form, you cannot have a formula. And that might not be a big deal, but sometimes for some workflows, it is quite annoying because you want your user to see the total of that calculation as they fill out your web form. That's not going to be possible. It will still be possible once they submit the web form and they get to this signature phase here. You'll be able to show them the total, but not in the Docusign Webforms. That's definitely a downside, and I hope that I fix this very soon. Now, the next difference is that with Webforms, you can decide to show or hide certain documents. For example, here we have 3 different documents inside of that template that's connected to the web form, because Webforms are most of the time connected to a template if you're not using them in a Maestro workflow. And I'll talk about what Maestro is in a second. But essentially in Docusign template here, we have 3 documents, one for Fund 1, one for Fund 2, and one for Fund 3, depending on whether the investor is an accredited, non-accredited, or a qualified purchaser. And depending on the type of investor, we want to redirect them to a specific document. Here, we can decide to, if they choose the option 1, show fund number 1. If they choose option 2, show document number 2. If they choose option 3, show document number 3 only. And this is not available in PowerForms, and that's really powerful. Now, if you need to create more complex logic and the Docusign web form does not allow for this, then you can use a Docusign Maestro workflow in which you can add a sequence of different steps. I really encourage you to watch my video on how to use Docusign Maestro, because it will help you create more complex workflows with many more steps. And in case you were wondering whether your web forms and power forms can be pre-filled before you send them, you can absolutely do that, but you will have to customize the URL of each of those power forms and web forms with some parameters. And I've done a video on how to pre-fill Docusign web forms and power forms. It's the same principle, so I also encourage you to watch it next if you want your recipients to receive documents with information that you already have on file. So now the final question, which one should you use? If for you the primary goal is to create the best mobile responsive experience for your signers, go with web forms. But if you want calculations to happen within the web form, then unfortunately you will have to wait for the signer to have submitted the web form so they can see the result of the calculations. But you can maybe also achieve the same sort of user experience with your power forms if you have control over the layout of the document, if you can restructure it in a way that's going to be mobile responsive, then maybe PowerForm is the way to go. But Docusign is bringing some enhancement in February, so now all the recipients will be able to have access to that web form experience, which is much nicer, but this will require that you purchase the advanced web forms add-on. And if I'm completely honest, web forms are much more complex to set up because you get essentially two instances of the same form, and you have to map the fields between your Docusign web form and your Docusign power form. The way that it works is that if you go here to the template connections, you will have fields for your web forms, and those fields have to be mapped to a template field inside of your e-signature template. So it takes longer to create, but most of the time it creates a better experience. If you need any help with this, configuring a Docusign web form, power form, setting up an integration, you know where to find us. You can click on the link just down below. During the call, we'll review your process and suggest the best implementation roadmap for your specific workflow. I will see you in the next video, and until then, happy signing.